We are here with Miami Marlins reliever Nic Enright. Nick, you were drafted by the Marlins in the Rule 5 draft. You know, a probably sudden transition for you. Probably didn't expect that come in. So, what's the transition like going from one organization to another? How difficult or how easy can it be for a player?
It's definitely different everywhere you go. Everyone kind of has different ways of going about things, but it's all the same overall. Like everything is all the same. It's just presented in different formats, whereas one organization maybe they use, the full vertical and induced break and stuff like that in the full 60 feet, whereas coming to Miami, they use the last 40 feet. And so it's little things like that where it's the data itself is all the same and the way they structure the organization all the same, but there's just little tweaks here and there. So for me, getting here when I did, I'm just trying to learn their language and how they present everything and just acclimate myself to, how Miami does everything.
You're going through spring training and all of a sudden you got, cancer. Not something you want to hear at all, but, how difficult was that recovery for you, and what are some things you may have learned about yourself as you go through that recovery and getting back to baseball?
Yeah, 100%. It was a little bit of a whirlwind month of December, that's for sure. But, for me, it was leaning on my family, my fiance, my friends, people around me. And, in the same sense that for me to get to where I am from a baseball perspective, it took, an entire village of people from the time I was, 7 or 8 years old to the time I am now. To get here, it was the same. It was all of that was the exact same thing where, it wasn't just me going through it. It's all of them going through it, leaning on them for the good days, the bad, and everything in between. And, I know I wouldn't be where I am now without all of their help and support. And, for me, it's just another adversity, another bump in the road, and just another obstacle to overcome. My thought process through all this is I haven't gone this far and gotten to where I am now just to come this far. It's like this is just one more thing I got to do, and, once I get through it, that'll make being up there that much sweeter.
I think what everyone wants to know, just how are you feeling? Do you think you're 100% good to go?
Oh yeah, I feel great. That's one thing that's been really weird, but at the same time I've been super fortunate through this entire process. Like I've never had any of those physical symptoms. Like when you hear the word cancer, it's really scary and you think of being bedridden and sick and, weak and all that kind of stuff versus I've never had that kind of from the beginning. And, for me, it's being out here, being in the sun, being just everything is, I think that has to be, it's not like a non-factor in all this, the fact that I feel the way that I do.
And finally, have you thought about that moment, Lone Depot Park? I mean, it may come soon. You're Rule 5. You have to be on the roster at some point. Have you thought about that moment where you're going to be on the mound there pitching for the Miami Marlins?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it's the same 60 feet 6 inches it is there as it is here. But I think for my family especially, that's going to be super, super cool. Like, again, my goal is to go out there and do anything I can to help the team win. But, I think it's an accomplishment for them and all the sacrifices that my parents and fiance and everyone around me have made to help put me in the position to get to this spot. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Nick.